Reddit is a platform where millions of people share their ideas, opinions, and questions about anything. It is also a goldmine for data analytics, trend analysis, and market research. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to download Reddit posts without using Reddit API access key in Python. Alright, so right here I already open a private browser, and if we navigate to reddit.com, and it's going to be the homepage. So all the posts that you see here can be accessed publicly. Now, the tricky part here is how do we access the underlying data set that make up to these posts. So fortunately, Reddit has a public API endpoint, and which not a lot of people know. So here, let's say I want to grab the latest post or most popular post from Python's subreddit. Now, if we look at the URL here, we have the base URL. Now, at the end, we can attach the sorting category. So, for example, let's say I want to return the latest, most popular posts. So I'm going to use hot. Then I'll enter. And that's going to return the posts that are most popular within a certain time frame. Now, here in the URL, if you simply replace the / with .json, now instead of returning the posts in web page, it's going to return as a JSON data set. And here, let me make the font a little bigger. Now here if we examine the data set, so we have the data key. And within the data key, we have this after ID. So this ID is used if we want to retrieve the additional page or posts. Now for the posts records, it's under the children key here. Now the default is only returning 25 records. I want to take you to the API reference real quick. So basically, we're using this endpoint here to return the posts in JSON records or in JSON format. Now here we can use these parameters here. So usually you'll be using the after and limits these three parameters. So the limit parameter is going to set the record size per request code. And after works kind of like offset. So if you want to skip the post to retrieve the next batch, then you will need to provide the after post ID. Now in this case, if we want to retrieve the next 25 records, then we need to provide this after ID. Now to put this into the Python script. Now let's say I want to retrieve the posts and convert the dataset into a CSV file. So here I'm going to import the type module. And to make the request code, I'm going to use the HTTPX library. And to convert the JSON dataset to a CSV or even Excel file, I'm going to use pandas module. All right, so let's go ahead and create the base URL, which is going to be https www.reddit.com. And endpoint is going to be the subreddit that I want to retrieve the post, followed by category. Now here in the documentation reference, in which I'll link the link in the description below. So here we can either use new, hot, or random and rising. So for demonstration purpose, I'm going to use hot as my sorting category. Then I'm going to concatenate each pieces. So base URL plus the endpoint plus the category.json. For the first batch, I don't have the after post ID, so I'm going to set the value to none. Now, to combine all the posts into a single data set, we need to create an empty array. In this case, I'm going to use an empty list. Then I'm going to insert a loop. So one of the limitations by accessing the public endpoint is that you can only retrieve the last 500 records or post records. So one thing I usually recommend people to do is to create a scheduler to run the Python script on a schedule. Now inside the loop, I'm going to define my parameters. So I'm going to set the record limit to 100, which is the maximum. And for the time period, so here we have different time units: hour, day, week, month, year, and all. I don't think we'll ever use all because some of the subreddits has way too many posts. So depending on the popularity of the group, you may want to limit that to either month, year, week, or day. And for the initial after post ID, this is going to be none. Then we're going to pass the URL along with the parameters. Then we're going to print a message giving the URL that we're trying to make a request code to. Now, just in case, if the request fail, then I want to raise an exception and troubleshoot the issue. Otherwise, I'm going to return the JSON data set as JSON data. Then I'm going to iterate the records and return each record individually into this empty list. Then I'll extend the list to my empty dataset list right here. Now here I'm going to grab the after post ID, then pause for 0.5 seconds, then move on to the next batch. And once I collect all the records or post records, then I can take the dataset list, create a data frame, and use the toCSV method to save the dataset as a CSV file. All right, so let's do a test run. So I'm going to run the script, and here's my project folder. Now it's like the script is finished, and here's my CSV file. Now let me open the file, and here's what the dataset looks like. So we have all the raw data, including every single fields, and which is quite a lot. So with this data set, you can use this for trend analysis, market research, for your own data analytics practice, or maybe a couple other things. It's up to you. So this is going to be everything I'm going to cover in this tutorial, and hopefully you guys find this video useful. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give this video a like and click on the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.